for applicants to actually send in their applications. And remember, for the midterm access, you need to have served for the last 10 years with NSSF, and also at least having 45 years and above onto your birth certificate. And then for people with disabilities, if you have 40 years and above, you are good to go. And then also they've highlighted something about the Mubende Referral Hospital, which is also going to be coming in our reports today, which is coming into our news updates after the press review here, where finance is on the spot over sending more money to Mubende Hospital. Now there's accountability from there, and also corruption cases have actually come out regarding the 700 million excess funds that were set to the Mubende Referral Hospital. Now this comes after the members of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee yesterday faulted officials from the Minister of Finance for sending more money to Mubende Regional Hospital than was budgeted for the financial year 2020 to 2021. So this draws back to the last one financial year that kick-started off during the pandemic. Now, also with the Daily Monitor is actually highlighting more regarding business, and also the segment about looking at issues to do with homes in that particular sector, looking further into the real estate sector. Remember, the real estate sector is one of those sectors that is actually growing steadily fast in Uganda's economy today. And looking forward and looking further, you can see that most of the people are projecting that it would be high time. Some people are bowing out because of the taxes, the rental income tax that is actually in process of being implemented. And then there's also something here highlighted in the Daily Monitor regarding the Ugandan National Bureau of Standards, which is stuck with 2,000 impounded weighing scales. And this comes in from the region of Masaka, where UNBS agents in Greater Masaka sub-region are stuck with more than 2,000 weighing scales that were impounded from traders a year ago. As of now, still having them, and they have nowhere to go. So maybe we shall be waiting for a statement from the Uganda National Bureau of Standards to come out and say where these particular weighing scales will be heading to. And then lastly, from the Daily Monitor, before we switch our eyes to the new vision, still tax to GDP ratio falls amid growth in financing needs. That is another report from the Daily Monitor, as tax to growth domestic ratio has fallen to 11.4% in the 2020-2021 financial year from 12 to 2% during the 2019-2020 financial year. So that is it from the Daily Monitor in regards to business. Still with the press review, meanwhile, let's try to look at the new vision again. Makerere University still in the papers now, a 72nd graduation ceremony, and this comes after this is day 3 now of the graduation ceremony at Makerere, which is still ongoing. Day 1 saw President Museveni and Minister for Education and Sports, that is Right Honorable Kataha Museveni, who is also who is also the First Lady of the country, joining it virtually through a Zoom interface live from State House in Nakasero. Okay, now still here, looking at the Daily Monitor, there is something they've actually looked at here. President Museveni as well being highlighted. The Daily Monitor has as well posted something to do with, the New Vision as well posted something to do with the MPs who have quizzed Mubende Hospital bosses over unauthorized staff loan deductions. Different headlines, but same story regarding the Mubende Referral Hospital. Ours here also highlights something about the ongoing crisis, which has actually sparked off corruption allegations from there. Now, when you look at in between the lines here, there's pay-as-you-earn deductions, as the committee also observed that the Auditor General is concerned over the delayed remittance of pay-as-you-earn deductions to the Uganda Revenue Authority by the hospital administration. And according to the Auditor General, there are delays in remittance of pay-as-you-earn deductions to URA ranging from 13 to 27 days. However, in response, the hospital administrators said currently management assures that all pay-as-you-earn deductions are remitted to URA by the 15th day of the following month. So still now with the Daily Monitors, we're trying to sum up here with the press review. The local government has opened up links to the private sector And this comes at a time as part of the scheme to realize the projected middle income status. The Ministry of Local Government has opted to open up links with the private sector to boost investment in the various districts. And still, lastly, from the new vision, Makerere University is targeting five innovation patents a year. And with Makerere University undertakes at least 400 research projects annually, but much of it is being shelved. Makerere University's Vice Chancellor, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, said that the university has the biggest research budget compared to other universities across the African continent. However, he said that the biggest challenge is now to transform research into goods and services to fuel economic growth. So that is it from the new vision, highlighting quite a number of business stories that you can definitely grab a copy of yourself at the comfort of your workplace or wherever you are to get to open up the press and open up the details from the business editorial side to see which business news are making headlines. Quite many, and then we are here to making sure that we keep you up to speed with those that you might have missed and bringing you in-depth analysis from the part of it as well. Okay, now it's time for us to head to the Mubende Referral Hospital crisis. Here with the Daily Monitor and the New Vision, I'll be giving you something more about this particular one after this particular report is done playing. But according to what is coming in from here is that there are reports of corruption allegations that are coming up, as the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has raised concerns over the incompetence of the Mubende Referral Hospital officials. This is due to the failure to submit their financial year reports, which ended June 30th, 2020-2021, to the Finance Minister in time for the fund. So there are extra funds of over 700 million Ugandan shillings, excess funds that were transferred to Mubende Hospital, which the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament wants accountability for before we even head into another financial year, before we skip 2 financial years without accountability for the Mubende Referral Hospital. Let's have a report regarding this particular matter.
Accounts Committee's investigations on the Mubende Referral Hospital officials, headed by the accounting officer Dr. Alex Adema. In his submission, the hospital director shows that there was a delay in the submission of the reports to the Ministry of Finance.
What was the deadline for submission?
It is supposed to be for Q1, which ends in September. It's supposed to be 15th of October.
And when did you submit?
Well, this date is, we submitted before 15th of October, but because of reviews and to and fro movement of the documents, the last submission was in January. And that was the date noted for our submission.
The hospital management was supposed to submit its performance reports for Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, but instead submitted them after the submissions deadline. Tumshime Charles, the hospital's principal, as well as a planner, says that the delays were due to COVID-19 lockdown, which restricted them from accessing these premises as well as moving.
The hard copy which we submit and it's stamped received is the one that is being reflected here because the auditors went by the date on the data of received. That one, it's true, it delayed because of 2 different reasons. The one which the director has already explained. But if you remember also at the height of COVID, ministries and other agencies restricted access to the premises. So we could be having the copies, but even submission physically was a little bit difficult for us.
Hear what Dr. General said. I didn't obtain evidence to confirm that the accounting officer prepared monitoring plans and reports which are important in ensuring that the budget performs as expected. And what was your response? The quarterly performance reports are usually submitted before the deadlines. However, due to resubmission after review, corrections by the Minister of Finance, the latter date is recorded as the date of submission. Again, your explanation to the Auditor General is at variance with the explanation that you are giving.
The submission of the hard copies is physical, and
Yes.
movement was a little bit difficult around that time, and some ministries and agencies had actually stopped physical visits.
However, committee members insisted that doctors are essential workers and thus could move freely during lockdown, further stating that this shows the incompetence of the current administration.
And I was a bit hesitant to give him information. Chair, during COVID, these people were classified as essential workers. So when you tell us that you were not accessing your premises, what do you mean exactly when you were carrying, and here when I'm talking, because when you were talking, my microphone was off. So when I'm talking, yours should be off because the chair will give you time to respond. So what do you mean, yet you are essential workers? That is one. Two, Honorable Penda has just put it, that maybe it is because of incompetence. I want you to tell this committee that when you make your submission online, and it is accurate, that will not be approved.
The later date you are quoting is not when you first submitted them. I am beginning to think that the people responsible are not competent enough. Or if they are competent, then they are sleeping on their job. They are not taking their work seriously. Because, Chair, for you to be able to beat this deadline and even ensure that you are within time is to send your reports in time. If a quarter, for example, January, March, and you're supposed to, the last submission date is 15th of April, then you must ensure that maybe by the 2nd of April, you have submitted your report to allow for the corrections between finance and yourself, and you still find yourself within that deadline.
In conclusion, the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee says that this could be a sign of corruption, but because they have realized their mistakes, they will be given a benefit of doubt.
When you look at the 4 quarters in the year under review, none of their reports was submitted in time, which shows that there is incompetence, but sometimes these delays point to corruption and fraudulent tendencies. So we only hope that the planning unit, the accounting unit in future are going to style up. Fortunately, they did admit that there were delays and they promised to correct the mistakes. We will give them a benefit of doubt. The Public Accounts Committee is still here. We only hope that when they come next year, we will not be getting the responses we got today. So we shall give them that benefit.
All right, now that is the Public Accounts Committee, which has raised concerns over the incompetence of the Mubende Referral Hospital officials. Now, let's draw big into this one. The Public Accounts Committee in Parliament asked the management of Mubende Hospital to explain the unauthorized loan deductions on salaries of staff. According to the Auditor General's report for the financial year, which ended June 2021, a number of employees were not in the approval report, but were in the active deduction report. And it was also noted that 21 employees had inconsistencies in the loan amounts in the integrated personnel and payroll system, plus the active deductions. So sections 2.1 and 2.12 and 2.14 of the service agreement between the government and the Uganda Consumer Lenders Association of Uganda, Bankers Association, requires a letter of undertaking for each government employee before making an employee reservation on the payroll deduction management system. So to answer the Auditor General's query, Mubende Hospital officials led by Alex Andema, and then the hospital director and the accounting officer appeared before the Auditor General and the committee in Parliament to at least assess these particular concerns. Now, Asman Basalidwa, who is the Bujiri Municipality MP and Vice Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, said that when someone makes an irregular deduction from any account, then you become liable. Then ideally, when you make a wrong deduction, you must pay. There is no shortcut about that. However, in response, Adama, who acknowledged the observations by the Auditor General of Government, attributed the anomalies to what he described as system-related challenges. So in between here, the Auditor General recommended that all accounting officers ensure that all loan applications approved through parish development models and that all data is reconciled in liaison with post-clearance management. Information before the committee indicated that over 124.5 million shillings had been deducted in form of loan recoveries from various staff members. Then the Auditor General also observed delayed remittances of deductions to the Uganda Consumer Lenders Association or Uganda Bankers Association. And the committee also observed, that is the Public Accounts Committee, that the Auditor General's concern over the delayed remittances of pay-as-you-earn deductions to the Uganda Revenue Authority by the Hospital Administration. According to the Auditor General, there are delays in remittances of pay-as-you-earn deductions to the Uganda Revenue Authority ranging from 13 to 27 days. However, in their response, the hospital administrators said currently management ensures that all pay-as-you-earn deductions are remitted to URA by the 15th day of the following month. So if the following month is when these particular deductions are supposed to be remitted by the URA. So in between the lines, a lot of questions coming in from the Mubende Referral Hospital, which comes in from there. Well, and also there will be a workshop on the impact of the high commodity prices from the Ministry of Finance as of today. That is the Kabbalah Serena Hotel, where there's going to be looking at the impact of the high commodity prices on today's economy, of which the Deputy Governor of Uganda, this Atik Ego, will be part of the keynote speakers, and as well as the Minister for Finance, that is Honorable Matia Kasaija, who will definitely be in that particular report as well, giving in more of the details regarding that particular one. Well, anyway, so following up on situations that are also coming up from Mubende, is that once we're actually heading into this, the Public Accounts Committee wants to come up with a full report of how the money that was non-allocated apparently happened to locate itself in Mubende Referral Hospital, and how it was used or utilized, and who signed the money, and who was actually in charge of getting that particular met. So when you look at the situations from that particular regard, we're going to be going into deeper of that. But then clearly, as we're looking at the review of the financial year 2022-2023 national budget, or the national cake, these are some of the reports that you'll definitely expect as now. Every other sector is reviewing and giving out reports of its performance for the previous financial year, or for the financial year that we are currently into. So before we actually give more of the assessment, every sector has to give in an annual report to reveal how much money it received, how the money was utilized, before they come in to seek for other funds, or to actually seek for an upgrade or more allocation of funds to them by the government. So those are some of the key expectations as we are waiting for more of that. Meanwhile, getting back into a review of one of the discussions we did have earlier on the show, and this particular one also taking into an insight into our topical discussion. So after the break, we're getting back, but doing a rewind of one of those discussions that we had. Then I'll be right back, giving you more from sports business. Stick around, and I'll surely be back with more with sports business. But then after the break, immediately at 9, the third hour of the show, we kickstart off with the topical discussion, where we rewind back some of those discussions that have been impactful to the business world. Good morning.